think that there's like certain components to the AI that you can definitely use, especially in my industry and maybe in yours too. But like, we're both in industries where the wrong information coming out be very detrimental to us and to our clientele. So I'm going to trust a robot to, then why am I even working anymore?
Talking specifically because you have so much experience, right? Like, can you tell us about a deal where someone thought everything was fine up until pretty much hit the finish?
Yeah, I would say that's probably like 50% of my deals. I just recently had a really bad situation actually with, unfortunately now what I'm starting to see, although it hasn't been as much, especially with the demographic of clientele that I work with, which is generally like I sell a lot of luxury homes and I sell like a large amount of people who don't necessarily have as much issues with banking, but I also have a lot of clientele with trustees and bankruptcies and banks giving me properties to sell. And we did a deal for a bank that was a closed deal the day of the closing. The people just didn't close.
Did you figure out why?
He's a jerk.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the Dhanju Law Podcast. We've got episode 6 and we are back after quite a while, but we've got a good one for you today. We have Michael Switzer. He's a real estate agent and I'm going to hand it over to him to introduce himself.
Hello, my name is Michael Switzer. I am the broker managing partner at Forest Hill Real Estate, actively selling real estate for 25 years, one of the top producing agents in the GTA. Is that a good introduction or what?
That's a fantastic introduction, actually. I just learned something.
There you go.
25 years.
Yeah. I know. He told me I look like I'm 30 years old. So
I was just going to say, I thought you were my age.
Yeah, well, I am.
I'm not going to say
I started when I was 5, No, I've been selling real estate since I was 22 years old and 47 right now. So it's even, that adds up. Are those the right mathematical equations for you guys?
I'm not the right person to ask that.
Yeah, me neither. Exactly. So, but I've been selling real estate for a long time. It's the only thing I've ever really known how to do. Mm-hmm. I think that it's come natural, thankfully, because I was kind of in a position when I was starting where I had no idea what I was going to do. And thankfully, it's been going very well for me.
So how did you actually get into it? Like this was the first thing you did and it worked out?
It was sort of forced on me, to be honest. My entire family are all builders and developers. Okay. So when I was growing up, my grandmother and my mother were always, I'm a character. So they were always sort of telling me, you should go into real estate. You should go into real estate. And I didn't want to. There was like a couple of real estate agents that I knew from when I was a kid that I thought they were all really slimy. Like this guy used to come at like parties and he would put his card on the table and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what's up with this guy, But when I was a teenager, I started working pre-construction jobs selling subdivisions that were being built. And, my uncles would pay me like a couple $100 per sale. And while all my friends were hanging out doing nothing, I was sitting in a hot trailer in a subdivision selling real estate. And one day I realized, I'm like, oh my God, like I'm making some money here. And,
exactly.
When you're 18 years old and you got a handful of money, it was like, oh, this could be good. And then my parents, my mother really said to me, I think you'd be good at this. And went and got my license with my brother. And now we have a real estate brokerage and hundreds of agents working for us. And, I would say at this point, approximately $12 billion in sales under our belt over the last 2 decades. So it's been pretty successful.
That is fantastic. Yeah. Wow. Okay. So it's safe to say you like real estate. Thankfully I do like real estate, because if I didn't, I don't think I'd be able to do the job. Yes. Like it's one of those things, much like what you do, like you have to actually have a passion for what you're doing, because if you don't, it shows. And that's what I think people can kind of feel your energy, especially when you're in sales. So if you walk in the door and you're just like, it's like you go to buy a car and they walk up to you right away, like they're trying to sell you something. Yes.
So for me, I've really tried to focus more on being a service guy than a sales guy, but it's both. You have to learn how to be in sales more so to get the clientele. But once you have the clientele, the sales turns off and the service turns on.
Yes.
And that's what I just try to focus on, is actually giving them the best advice and taking good care of them.
Yes. Yeah. Something I didn't know before becoming a lawyer, especially before opening my own firm, is it's sales.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
It's so much sales. Yeah. So my MBA really comes in handy because I'm selling myself all the time.
What kind of law do you usually practice?
So real estate.
Yeah.
And corporate.
Oh, yeah. So you're definitely in sales.
So sales all the time.
Yeah.
Always on. And it's been a transition, because I feel like nowadays I'm doing more sales than actually practicing.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
Like a couple of days where it's literally just, okay, we're focusing on, lead generation, or we're focusing on, getting clients in, or trying to reinvigorate like older leads.
Yeah.
Right.
And just build.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, because right now I'm in a building stage.
For sure.
Right.
Well, you're young.
I've had the firm for just over a year.
Yeah, it's great.
So the firm's a baby. I'm not so much a baby.
You're a baby. Come on. Yeah.
Maybe compared to you.
Yeah. Oh, thanks. Compared to you, old man. Yeah. But yeah.
I wouldn't have said that if you didn't tell on yourself.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm happy. I'm proud of my age.
I honestly would have thought you were in your 30s.
Oh, that's great. I appreciate that. I'll come for a weekly podcast for these kind of compliments. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. And we're full of them.
All right. Nice. It's great.
Yeah. So it's all of that selling. But I much more enjoy the law, right? Like I really, truly, like you're saying, like I'm truly passionate about it, which is so weird to say because I know lawyers and I know like people in other industries that are just like, I'm just doing this for
they get jaded. Yeah.
Yes. Right. Or, I'm sick of dealing with this kind of stuff.
Yeah. Oh, in my industry?
Maybe I'm not there yet.
No, and you don't have to ever get there. And that's the difference of actually having a passion for what you do compared to just being at a job.
Yes.
Because like I look at so many real estate agents and even successful real estate agents, and it could be lawyers, it could be anybody, it could be doctors.
Yes.
And once you get to a point where you're just clocking in and clocking out, it's like, I don't really understand. Like, obviously you got to pay the bills. I get that part of it, but I just find it to be so much better for your actual like mental health and for your daily practice to go out. And like, I enjoy coming into the office. I come into the office and I'm trying to bring the mood up every time I see everybody, because especially over the past few years in real estate, it's not tough. Oh yeah. And there is a lot of real estate agents who are struggling. Yes. So from my point of view, thankfully being one who hasn't been, like my business has been growing even throughout the market, which is a testament to hard work and hustle and clientele and referrals. But, I also want to make sure that the newer agents or the agents who haven't been doing as well, like it's important for me to come in there and not sort of rub that in their face. It's more in the sense of like, hey, this is something I'm trying to show you. Like, I'm not being like this by accident. I'm being like this because this is how it's helped me be successful. Yes. Your positivity, like it leads into the people that you're speaking to. You literally attract who you are. And I've tried to explain that to people. And sometimes people roll their eyes at me like I'm like Oprah. And I'm not trying to Oprah them. I'm trying to tell them like, no, I really believe that you attract who you are, and you attract, like how you think is what you live. And it's all connected. It's like there's a major karma in the world. And there's a major karma in real estate, a major karma in business. And it's like, if you don't have that starting from the, between your ears and what you're thinking, what you're telling yourself, like it's all connected.
I completely agree because I believe in that energy.
Yeah.
Right. If you're putting whatever you're putting out into the universe, that's what's going to come back.
Of course. That's why it's like, getting a call like this, like you want to come do a podcast. Absolutely.
Yes.
Because why wouldn't we? Exactly. And like even just to hear each other's opinions and learn more and grow more and, find more connection.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so that's where the networking from like school comes in, right? Where they used to always tell us, go out and network and talk to people and speak to people. But that's how you learn.
Yeah.
Right? Google won't give you all these answers.
No. And the AI won't give you all these answers.
Not.
Well, not yet, at least. Yeah, not correctly. Well, we'll see. Pretty soon, it'll be AI will be doing our whole podcast right now.
Yes. I've seen those.
Me too. Yeah.
I've seen those AI podcasts, but it doesn't look human. It doesn't feel human.
It doesn't. I think that there's like certain components to the AI that you can definitely use, especially in my industry and maybe in yours too. Mm-hmm. But like we're both in industries where the wrong information coming out could be very detrimental to us and to our clientele. Yes. So I'm going to trust a robot to give then why am I even working anymore?
Exactly.
It's not there yet, but definitely for marketing, I think that there's some things that I can start to look at and say, okay, maybe this could help me plan my scheduling for my social media or something like that. But it's, I have seen some of those AI podcasts as well. And I don't think exactly that. They just don't seem like real.
It just feels off, right? Like I use AI more for, diet, working out.
Me too. Yeah.
Right. Like what's my schedule or like little questions like, hey, my knee's clicking.
Yeah. Or like, what's a good weight for a 47-year-old man at this weight and size to be curling?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Right. Like those things based on my own experience.
Yeah.
I can kind of rely on, but I'm not going to say, put in something for a client just because that's just not where I'm.
No. And I can tell you because like that's something that has actually been a real life problem for agents. Because, like one of the things of being a managing broker and a partner in a real estate office is that I have a lot of real estate agents that work with me
Yes.
that come to me for asking questions. And a lot of the time, like big problems come. It's funny that we just started this good segue because big problems come from people who are relying not just on AI, but on Google.
Yes.
And they're like, well, I said, well, where did you get this clause? Where did you get this clause? Oh, well, I Googled, waterfront property clauses from Treb, blah, blah. And I'm like, but like, you got to know what you're saying.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like you're putting this on paper. You're the one who's responsible for your clientele. You're the one who's putting your clients in a position where you now have a clause in here that is not relevant and it doesn't even make sense.
Yes.
So I think that, it's one of those things where expertise really comes in and experience. Like I've had people who tell me, well, I've been selling real estate for 50 years and you're making this mistake. And I'm like, well, then you've been doing it wrong for 50 years.
Just because you've been doing it for 50
experience,
years
that's what I'm saying.
Correct.
Expertise and experience are not the same thing.
Yes. Absolutely. The same way, like age doesn't necessarily mean you know better.
Well, as a younger person, don't you find a lot of the time when you're speaking to lawyers or someone they're battling with you, well, I've been doing this for 50 years.
And I get it a lot.
I still get that. And I even found myself like in a position recently where I could have been the guy to say it. And I was like, I had to stop myself. I'm like, I'm not going to be that guy. I almost just said it.
Not yet.
I almost just said, how long have you been selling real estate for? But it's definitely a very demeaning way to approach a conversation or disputes to tell people how long you've been doing it, and that's how I always end it. I'll be okay. Well, you've been selling real estate for 50 years. Well, you've been doing it wrong 50 years, and it's just like a quick answer and a quick ending to that whole dispute because both of our industries are full of people who are looking for problems.
Yes.
And that's something that I think we definitely have in common. It's like I so many times I'm talking to real estate agents and I'm like, can we get back to the deal? Like, what are we talking about? Why are you trying to fight with me? Why are you telling me this or that? It's like, anyways, that's definitely I know a lot of lawyers as well. So I know you deal with that all day.
The ego kind of steps in.
Ego, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially, and I experienced this like being younger and as a woman.
Yeah, of course.
Right. So quite a bit.
Yeah.
I see it and I just try to kind of push past it.
Yeah.
Instead of also getting emotional.
Of course.
Right.
Yeah.
Because then
you're falling right into what they want you to do if you get emotional, especially on that end, for sure.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, that's just like it's such a weak thing, especially on that respect for both the age and gender thing. It's like, shut up.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't know who I am, and I wouldn't.
Which I mean, I would love to say that, but I wouldn't.
But you know what? You should. Life is short. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe that's the wrong advice, but like, I'm at a spot right now where it's like, not that I'm like burning the bridge like that, but I'm definitely, I'm not taking as much, as maybe I would have before, because it's like, what is this? Like we're in a position where sometimes you need to put people in their place, and especially when they're wrong. So if you don't know that you're right, that's one thing. Or if you're not 100% sure, not that I want to start fights with somebody, but there's definitely been a few times over the last few years that I've had to, and not even just in real estate, just in life.
Yes.
Just sort of just say, oh, you know what? Like, no, I'm not taking that, and I think that is also something for both of our industries, is that people our clientele are looking for tough. They're looking for someone, like, what do? We're battling on behalf of people. So I'm negotiating for behalf of people. I'm negotiating people's largest assets every single day. Do they want someone who's a pushover? No. They want someone who's going to show them, like, look, this guy's tough.
Yes.
He fights. He's not going to back down to someone. And the same thing for a lawyer.
Yes. On
any capacity, especially a real estate lawyer or a corporate lawyer. Like, I want to know that person isn't just going to give in to the other lawyer's demands. They're going to fight.
Their business, their livelihood, or like the biggest purchase of their lives.
Like, it's on the line, for sure. When I'm negotiating,
don't want somebody to just kind of.
And I'm telling you, like, that's something that I've really based my business around. Is I always think about it like that. And it might sound a little bit cheesy or hokey or salesy, but I always try to put myself in the position when I'm giving people advice of, this is my thing. Yes. This is my house.
Yes.
Or this is my deal. How would I respond?
Yes.
Not just, I want to make a deal, but no, this is my house that I'm selling. So if it's my house, obviously I'm going to go after every dollar the same way I would if it was your house, right?
Absolutely.
So it's like and people can see that. And the other agents can see that. And they know kind of like, maybe I shouldn't mess with them too much. You know what I mean?
Yes,
maybe I should.
Or maybe I'm not as invested with my client.
Yeah. Or maybe I can learn something.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's great. Yeah.
I used to think of it kind of as a weakness, because every client I had, I took it personally.
Yeah.
Like, I would get so invested. I would be up at night, like thinking about it. I'm like 24/7 talking to my husband, like biting his head off.
Yeah.
You know, what if we do this? What if we do this? What if we do this?
That means you're good.
Right?
Yeah.
And
because you care.
Exactly. It's because I care so much.
Yeah.
About every single client.
No, but I'm telling you, I still have that. And that's why over the last few years in particular, like the last few years have been a really listen, real estate is stressful. Like, you know, it's stressful in good markets too.
Yes.
Because I've seen so many people who are like, oh, you know, it must be tough right now. I'm like, yeah, it was tough too when there was 30 offers on every house. And there was, you know, like it's never like, you know, if anything right now, although the sales are down, this is as balanced of a market as I've seen in a long time. It's just slow because that I think it's more about the economy and about the, you know, the actual bigger picture of Canada as a whole than it is about the actual real estate market. Like people are just not jumping back into the market right now. Buyers are not jumping into the market. But if anything, there's so much opportunity in this market. Like there's so much opportunity for buyers right now to go and get themselves a great deal. And, you know, as long as you do this smartly, like there's a great route to sell your house first and then go take advantage of the market, right?
Exactly.
But for whatever reason, the buyers are not jumping into the market.
I think there's just a little bit of like apprehension, especially like what happened with pre-con.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Right. I've heard so many stories and I've dealt with so many stories like that where the value just went down.
Yeah. But it's not like the writing wasn't on the wall for that. Like I stopped selling pre-construction almost a decade ago. And you know.
Good for you.
Yeah.
So
well, do you want to know why I did? Because I could see that all of these investments that these people were buying were not even carrying themselves. Mm-hmm. You know, you can't just confidently tell. It's one thing if these people are super loaded and they want to add a portfolio of a bunch of condos or something like that. But if you're just going there and like, this is your investment, you're way better off to buy yourself a commercial duplex, threeplex, fourplex, or anything for that matter, rather than just go and buying another condo.
Yes.
They don't even carry themselves. And once I got to that stage where I realized that was happening, I stopped pushing them. And I sold a lot of pre-construction for a long time. And a lot of people made a lot of money off of them. But from the second that I saw that it wasn't a good investment, like exactly that, like I wouldn't buy it. If I'm not going to buy it, then I'm not going to tell somebody else to buy it.
Exactly.
Right. So, and I don't think the same thing applies to this industry and to this market, to the resale market. It's, you know, there's always going to be a need for people to live somewhere, and people are always going to want to invest in neighborhoods and in school zones and different pockets. But I think that the economics in our country right now and our governments, and without getting too political, you know, just like some of the regulatory bodies and the decisions that have been made in regards to the real estate industry have been extremely detrimental to us moving forward. And I wish I had the answer. But all I know is just work, and I just keep hustling, and it's a grind. It's a grind to sell real estate right now for sure. Absolutely. But even in this market, like, you know, we're moving and homes are moving. It's just taking longer to find the right buyers.
Talking specifically because you have so much experience, right? Like, can you tell us about a deal where someone thought everything was fine up until it pretty much hit the fan?
Yeah. I would say that's probably like 50% of my deals. But yeah, no, I just recently had a really bad situation actually with, you know, unfortunately now what I'm starting to see, although it hasn't been as much, especially with the demographic of clientele that I work with, which is generally I sell a lot of luxury homes, and I sell like a large amount of people who don't necessarily have as much issues with banking. But I also have a lot of clientele with trustees and bankruptcies and banks giving me properties to sell. And we did a deal for a bank that was a closed deal, and it was the day of the closing. The people just didn't close. And it was one of these situations where, you know, talking about it from a lawyer point of view, where, you know, I was looking at the lawyer and I was like, okay, so what do you mean it didn't close? Well, it didn't close. He's not closing.
And nothing the lawyer can do, right?
But I said, you know, for me, like I've never come across that before, that someone just doesn't close. Like usually it would be something that would come up a few weeks leading up to it. Oh, I'm not closing. And then they would sort of figure it out and settle something. But just on the day of closing, the guy's just not closing. I'm not leaving the house. These people are literally in a moving truck on their driveway, and this guy's not leaving his house. And the whole deal got delayed, and I actually learned the lesson of how long somebody can actually hold off a deal. And in this situation, it was about 10 days.
that he just didn't leave, didn't close.
Did you figure out why?
Yeah, he's a jerk. That's the technical term for what he
wanted to.
No, he there's a lot of people who try to pull angles and like those types of characters who are always like why you have lawyers in the first place.
Yes.
And
but was he trying to get more
in
money
his
out of
mind
them,
in his mind he thought that he was going to be able to keep his property, which already had like several liens on it and a bunch of different loans and people trying to collect, and he just tried to just say I'm not leaving, and maybe that we would all just leave him alone. And for a split second my client actually was like, so what do we do? So should we just give a mutual release? And I was like, are you crazy? We're not giving a mutual release. Like this is you bought this property, you gave a deposit, you guys didn't, because their lawyer was giving them advice that was like, you might not win and he might just, and I had to bring in a different litigator to come in, and that person really put them to the curb and basically just said, literally put their stuff to the curb and said to them, we're not going away. And they ended up working out a deal, and the deal did close. But I've seen a lot of situations like that where you have all different types of interesting people, and a lot of people who don't necessarily think that the law applies to them.
Yes.
Right? And that's something you probably see. And it could be a cultural thing sometimes, or it could just be like a mental health thing. A lot of the time it's a mental health thing.
Yes.
Where people just are like, I don't care. Sue me. But they don't realize that then you get sued. Yes. And getting sued means that you got problems. But when you have someone like that who already has like, a whole bunch of issues and like that, for them, it's just like, okay, pile it up. And they've already obviously,
not going to get much worse.
They've already been used to living in a certain way, and they're not really scared of any of the repercussions that come their way. But eventually, what ends up happening when you go through down the line is that it eventually gets in front of a judge, and then the sheriff will literally go there and say, okay, we're going to remove you from this house if you don't leave. And thankfully it didn't come to that. But that was a very recent deal that I just went through right now. And it's just like, these are the things that it's like people don't realize. You watch all these real estate shows, and you're like, oh, what a cool job. Like the real estate is a grind, like real estate is like, because I've actually been watching some of these real estate shows, and I'm like, I wish I did this job. Like that job looks great.
Selling Sunset?
Yeah, like Selling Sunset, or like like the Owning Manhattan. I like that show actually. I think it was really entertaining to watch, but it sure isn't what I do for a living.
No, it's definitely entertaining. Like Suits, I find entertaining.
Suits,
but like
exactly.
Every 5 minutes, I'm like, no, that's not.
No,
that's
and
not
it's just like I have a $24 million listing. Oh, I have a $24 million buyer. Let's line them up. It's like, okay, where is that? Where's my reality? Like I'm sitting here like hustling hard to find these buyers for months at a time. So it's definitely the Hollywoodification, if that's the word, of
just glamorizing.
The glamorizing of the industry, and I get it, but sometimes I come into the office and I have like some ladies that I work with that I'm very close with, obviously the people I work with, and I'm like, have you not seen the outfits that they have on Selling Sunset? Like, what are you wearing? Like, oh, I'm wearing sweatpants today. It's like, okay, well, get to work. So it's like this is unfortunately. And actually more, I would say, fortunately, not the reality of our business, because I really wouldn't want to live like that either.
Yes.
But the problems that arise in real estate on a daily basis that I see as also the broker of my office, it's like every day somebody comes in with a different thing, and I'm just looking at them. I'm like, wait, what? Who did? How? What? Like, it's like there's always something new that comes up, and that's definitely the job of selling real estate, much like being a lawyer. It's like you're putting out fires all day long.
Yes.
And it's like you're like that's what I do well. I'm a problem solver, and if you apply that to actually selling real estate as well, like that's each listing, each sale, each purchase. Like there's a lot of problems that arise. Yes. And if you don't know how to sell real estate, or if you don't have the know-how to deal with those problems, then your clients are the ones who are going to be affected.
Yes.
And that's where it's like a lot of the time you go on a listing presentation and those people will say like, okay, how are you different? And it's very hard to explain that really quickly. But that's generally what I'll come to is essentially, like they're waiting for me to say, oh, because I market, or I'm the number one producer, or
exactly.
And I go, what did I do? I solve problems. And I make it so that you don't have to deal with the problems, because I'm ready to deal with them, and I know the hurdles, and I've been through these things. And
I'll go to bat for you.
I'll go to bat for you, exactly. And you have somebody in your corner who actually knows how to fight.
Yes. Which is a lot of what my clients love.
Yeah.
About me as well.
For sure.
Like they understand, like if 100% they would prefer if things went smoothly.
Yeah.
But when there's a hurdle, they understand. Like, I'm not going to tell them, you know what, just let it happen.
And you've been selling real estate for 20 years?
No.
Sorry, you've been a real estate lawyer for 20 years is what I meant to say?
No, I've been involved with so I do real estate investment, I've done real estate on the business side, property management. Like, I have all of that, like, real estate related experience.
Yeah.
But I've been a lawyer for about 7 years.
A lawyer for 7 years.
Yes.
Okay, that's what it was. Okay, got you.
Yes.
Sorry. I was going to say you've been a lawyer since you were 7 years old? Or
yeah, I mean, yeah. I could have, but I just didn't want to.
Yeah, exactly. I wasn't ready to break into the industry yet.
I had other things to do.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
At 7 years old.
I figured I'd go to school first, you know?
Exactly.
It's cool.
What's a common expensive mistake you've seen clients make?
I mean, there's definitely a bunch of common issues that I see people make that cost them money. But the without sounding like I'm trying to, you know, toot my own horn too much, I think a big part of the industry that I'm in, the issue that we have is discount agents.
Yes.
So a lot of the time people, you know, in order to save 1% of their commission, and I'm not exaggerating when I say this, are selling their house for 10% less than what a good agent would have sold it for. So this has been like the spiral of our market over the past few years, is that when the market was hot and everything was selling at a higher price, everybody was a star. Mm-hmm. So all these agents who, you know, I try to watch my wording. I don't want to sound like I'm like diminishing people in my industry, but a lot of people who maybe don't have as much of experience or maybe, in my opinion, wouldn't be as strong of agents, were able to get really good results because there was 30 offers on a property and they were holding offers on a Tuesday night and they would just get the highest price that was there. But those days are long gone. Mm-hmm. So now a lot of these people are still hiring these agents that are these, you know, friend of the family or the discount agents that come in, and they're selling their property for significantly less than what I would have valued it at.
Yes.
Problem being is that then that's the last sale, and then the next guy after that, and that's how the market goes down. So it's like, and I've watched it over the last few years where it's just like, this sale happened, then this sale happened, then this sale happened. And you're like, all three of those sales were like ridiculously low sales. But unfortunately, now those are the sales. Yes. And then everybody else in the neighborhood has to respond. And now that affects everybody's value. So it's not necessarily that it's you know, just affecting the person who's dealing with it. They're affecting the market. But, you know, I've seen a few things where people have definitely, you know, when it comes to like the actual, their house, when, you know, people will come in and they'll say, well, in preparation for selling the house, I just changed all of the flooring to dark hardwood floors and painted the walls green and changed the countertops to this and that. And that's like doing renovations. If you're going to do renovations to sell your house, you should speak to a real estate agent first. Yes. Because a lot of the time I'll tell people like, don't, like, just leave it as it is. Or if you're going to do it, make sure that you don't do this, this, and this. You know, if you're doing it, make sure that it's like neutral and make sure that it's something that...
It's got to appeal to the general public, not your preferences,
so right? A lot of the time people will come in and the flooring is a big thing, or like the countertops, something like that, or backsplash, or like, you know, and they'll do what they like. And you're like, well, now you just spent all that money and you want to get your premium for that. Yes. But the problem is that a lot of people don't like that. They might come in and say, okay, they're brand new floors, but I wanted lighter hardwood floors. Yes. Or you come in and you put light hardwood floors, and people might want dark hardwood floors.
And they're calculating the cost of now having to redo all that.
Exactly, and then and you're expecting to get, you know, your money back and then some, and it's just not realistic. Exactly. Unfortunately, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And especially you deal more in like a luxury market.
Yes.
Right, so it's very different.
Oh, for sure.
People that are looking at the houses that you've got, it's a different eye.
Yeah, it is, but it also applies to like anything, you know, like I sell all kinds of properties, just to be clear. So like the same, you know, attention to detail that I would have on a $10 million property, I would have on a $1 million property. Mm-hmm. I think that's also something that is, you know, a good representation of having somebody who actually cares in your corner. Like it's like, I'm not going to be treating somebody differently based on the amount of but a lot of people, like, they could have an investment property and they'll say, you know, I'm redoing these floors. Should I be putting in this floor or that floor? That's where I think a lot of the time you should speak to an expert before you go and change the floors, because it might be the biggest difference for
somebody who might say, well, why would you put in, new carpet in the basement when you could have put in engineer hardwood flooring or laminate or something like that, which is more people would probably want that in their basement.
Yes,
right?
And it would maybe cost you a little bit more.
Yes.
But it would appeal to a lot more people.
Exactly. And
I see carpet in a basement and I
have to rip it out. Yeah.
Like
yeah.
I have to leave.
Yeah, no, for sure. And that's way more people would feel that way.
Yes.
So that's a perfect example. Is a carpet in the basement.
I saw a house recently. I think it was like, I was with a client and I think it was like 10 million or something like that. And the bedrooms all had carpet.
Yeah.
And they specifically put that in because they're like, it's comfortable and when you get out of bed in the
Yeah,
morning.
yeah.
And I was like, okay, I agree, but I hate it.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to see carpet, especially not upstairs.
Yeah. But you know what? That's the thing. It's like some people will like to have it in their bedrooms. The answer is rugs. Exactly. Like have hardwood throughout and put rugs down.
That's what we do.
If there's people, the only time that I would say it makes sense is if you have like little babies or something. Sometimes people like to have like carpeting or in the basement, have an area where there's carpet.
Yes.
But there's a lot of different ways that people can, just do things that will work to the larger mass of buyers when you're looking to sell your house.
Yes.
And for the most part, my advice would be just to leave it alone and let the people come in and do their own renovation. And if there's something that needs to be fixed, if there's a leaky thing or if there's a broken thing, then you could fix it.
Yes.
But when it comes to the cosmetics of the house, I'll generally tell people to just leave them as they are.
Yes. Or, get your opinion because this is what you do.
Yeah, that's right. And it's like get an opinion or talking about people's overspending on money. Like a lot of these trades are like crazy ripoff artists. Yes. So you have to be able to, so a lot of the time I had a client recently in Forest Hill and, these ripoff trades generally sort of hunt around wealthy neighborhoods. Yes. And I overheard on a purchaser's visit, some painters talking to my client to who's an old friend of mine. And she's the wife of this couple. And I overheard them and I said, what did that painter just say to you? And she said, he's giving me a quote. I said, did he just say $80,000?
For paint?
Yeah. And she
How
said,
big is the house?
It's a big house, but $80,000. So I said, is he painting it with gold? And she said, what do you mean? And I said, did he just say $80,000? And I'm like, no, like that's ridiculous. And they're very wealthy people. They're the type of people.
It still doesn't make sense.
No, you're right. But they're the type of people that wouldn't, they don't gauge the same way when they're at a different level, So then it's my job to be like, excuse me, like, did you mean to say 30? Did you mean to say 40? Like, what are you talking about? 80? And that's where I think people can really, another reason why you want to have somebody who's actually there watching your back. It's not just about the negotiations, not just about the closing. It's after the deal is done. It's on the purchaser's visit when you overhear them talking to a trade. I got my ears open.
Yes.
I got my eyes on the ball. Like I'm watching and I'm making sure that every single step, even after they're closed, whatever it is, you always have to have, same way with how you are with your clients, always have to have your clients' backs.
Yeah, it's more full service.
Full service.
Right? Like I have clients that closed in January, February, March of last year, and they still call me.
Yeah.
Hey, like I had a quick question.
Of course.
Or hey,
because you're good.
Where do I pay these taxes? Or where, like little small things. Because first time homeowners.
Yeah.
Like.
Oh, for sure. First time homeowners. It's a lot of questions.
They learn a lot after.
Yeah.
They purchase the home.
But what's going to happen with that first time home buyer when their friend who's a first time home buyer needs a lawyer? Who do you think they're calling? Yes. Who do you think they're referring? They're referring you.
Exactly.
They're going to refer me because they know, well, you want someone great. You want someone who has your back. You want someone who knows the law. You want someone who knows real estate.
Yes.
That's the person.
Yeah, so because you've got that peace of mind after.
Yeah.
Right? You're not kind of, you didn't pay just a little bit less.
No.
And now you're confused.
Yeah.
And you don't know where you're going and what you're doing, and you have to ask somebody else or you have to pay somebody else.
Yeah, but I just think that's generally like all coming back to what we were talking about before about actually like servicing people.
Yes.
And having like the right ideals behind why you're doing your job and actually liking what you do. Because that passion, it all comes back around again. It's like you have to be able to show people like, I'm not just here for a paycheck. I like the paycheck, don't get me wrong. I want the paycheck, but the paycheck isn't what drives me.
Yes.
What drives me is the referral.
Yes.
I want the referral. I want you to know that you never have to look for somebody else. You never have to say, oh, well, who should I call? No, you're going to call me.
Yes.
And you're going to refer
every
me
time.
Because you know that I'll take care of it. And I'll take care of them the same way I took care of you.
Yes.
And
that's, people don't understand, like, that's how our business works.
Of course.
Right? Like, if you just walk away from somebody right after you're paid,
they're
not going to be inclined to refer you.
And I can tell you, like, I know a lot of stories for
obviously from selling real estate for so long, where I've heard nightmares, not just about agents, but about their lawyers. And you're just like, like that to me,
I've
like
heard so many.
the idea of somebody saying something like that about me, I would, like you were talking about, I'd keep me up at night.
Yes.
I would literally be up at night thinking like, wow, how did, you know what I mean? Like
exactly.
I want people to, maybe it stems from like some other stuff, but like I really want people to like me.
It might be therapy.
Yeah, I may need some therapy. Yeah. But I want them to. I'm gonna look right into the camera. I want you to like me. But yeah, I think it's really important that you base your career around a reputation, and building a reputation, and understanding that everybody's connected. It's not just like. It's not just like, this group and that group or these people and those people. It's like everyone, we're all one big thing.
Yes.
And we're all connected. And it's like, I have clientele from all walks of life. And I think that that's the most important thing to remember is, you can build a reputation for 25 years and you can bust your chops and you can do really well and you can kill it all in 5 seconds by doing one thing.
Yes.
And it's like, that's scary to me. You know what I mean? Like just one person who goes out and sometimes there's crazy people out there. Don't get me wrong. Like, I had, like all the stuff with Google reviews and stuff. Yes. And I just had some crazy guy on Google reviews start writing a bunch of stuff. I didn't even know the guy and I have no idea who he was or what it was, but that's the problem with stuff like this. And especially on Google review stuff, this guy just started writing all this stuff. And it's just like, who are you? Why are you reading? So I had to write like, I don't know this guy. Anybody who's reading this guy is not a real thing.
But some people don't even read, like they'll read that.
And they're like, oh, what? He's a horrible person. He did this. And I'm like, I've never had any dealings with this person. I don't know who this person is.
You could have hundreds of 5-star reviews.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And all of a sudden it's 4.8.
Yes.
And I'm like, what's up with that?
I
earned that 5, for sure.
Like I take pride in my 5 stars.
I do take 5. I take a lot of pride in my 5 stars. Exactly.
Me too. Yeah. I check it every day.
Yeah. Well, all I've ever heard is really good things. So you're doing a good job.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You as well.
Thank you. Right back at you. It's nice
so I don't know who that one person was, but he was definitely crazy.
He was crazy.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, he'll get his.
Yes.
There's a karma.
Well, maybe there was a different Michael Switzer.
No. I actually I actually think that this might have been like maybe even a competitor.
That's very, very possible.
That's kind of what I worked out, but how do you prove it? And how do you, like, it was like a fake profile.
Yeah.
They just create a profile, put a picture up.
It's super easy.
Of course. Takes 5 seconds. And then he's the worst agent. And he's just like, whoa, man, come on. So I had to go into that mode. And if you want, you can hire people who go there and like they clean up your stuff. And I was like, I'm not doing that. I don't like, life is short. I really do believe that stuff. And I'm not going to sit here and like, I'm not going to worry about things that I can't control.
Yeah.
That's the same thing I say to people when I list their house. There's a checklist of things that we can control. And then there's so many things, everything else. Yes. There's these little variables that we can control and then everything else. I can't worry about everything else. All we can worry about is like what we can control. Yes. It's like they have the blinders on the horse. It's like, so they can only run their own race, right?
Yes, just look straight.
I just focus on my own race and my own clients and one deal at a time. And that's, otherwise I go nuts.
I get clients like, especially like newer, like when let's say it's their first business purchase or it's their first home that they're purchasing, they have hundreds of hypotheticals.
Oh, of course.
Right?
Oh, it's first time buyers?
What if this happens? What if this happens? What if this happens? And it's like, I can sit here and answer
or we can just cross this bridge when we get there.
Yes. If it happens, we'll talk about it.
Yes.
Exactly.
No, and you get those A types all the time, and you have to be able to deal with them as well. And I have clients like that right now that are like a lot of like, well, what if this and what if that?
Because I'm like that.
Yeah.
Like in my head.
Yeah.
Like I'm not voicing those thoughts, but I'm like that because I'm thinking of every single possible scenario when I'm dealing with anything.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether it's my personal life or my professional life.
Yeah.
Because I'm very type A.
Yeah. No, but that's fine.
Yes.
And that's why. So it's like you have to be able to realize.
So I understand it. When they come to me like that,
I respect it. I respect your fears. I respect the anxieties that are there. But at the end of the day, we can control what we can control.
Yes.
And let's just start with what's in front of us.
But if I answer all of your questions, you're just going to get more anxious.
Yeah. And more questions will always take their place.
Exactly.
So that's like the real A types. Like there's always a question to take the next question, take the next question. So like, that's how my wife is. So it's like a lot of the time I'm like, can we just like not do this?
Let's just move forward.
Can we just move forward and like, like we like something simple, like when we go traveling, she gets really anxious about traveling or something. It's like, why don't we just relax and just go on a trip and
just enjoy it.
And if there's a problem, then we'll confront it there.
I promise you we'll deal with it.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
I used to be much more like that, but with, time and experience, you realize, what is my worrying and getting anxious and getting my heart rate all up there? What's it going to do other than get me all sweaty and clammy?
Yeah. And that's why it's when it comes to the paperwork for both of our industries, the paperwork is all that matters.
Yes.
So it's all I ever focus on, I'm pretty laid back except for my paperwork. You want to talk OCD?
Yes.
That's me with paperwork. It has to be perfect.
Yes.
Because any single time that something can happen, like the Murphy's Law of real estate transactions or a legal proceeding, it will happen.
Yes.
So if there's if there's a hot water tank that's a rental and you don't have that hot water tank rental, believe me, it's going to be a problem.
Yes.
Whatever the smallest little things are. So I always make sure, a lot of the time we'll have the same issues. So I'd be like, well, I don't have to sign the spousal consent. It's fine. No, just sign the spousal consent. What's your problem? No, it's fine. I don't have to. And then both of them no, it's fine. He doesn't have to. I'm like, no, he does.
Yes.
Live in the house. You sign the spousal consent. It's just little things like that, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I definitely know the importance of good lawyers, good real estate lawyers, and I thank you for your service. You know what I mean? Because it's it really is. It's an important thing to have for our industry, and there's a lot of, just like agents, there's a lot of different types of real estate agents, a lot of different types of real estate lawyers, and the ones who I think are the best ones are the ones who are passionate about what they do.
Yes.
And want to display it in something like this. You've got skills and you should show it.
Absolutely.
So doing a good job.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate you having me here.
I really appreciate it. And it was a wonderful talk, very engaging.
For sure. I appreciate it.
I don't know how much we actually covered about our actual industry.
I know. I think we got some. I think we got a little bit in there.
We had fun though.
Yeah,
so it
for
counts.
sure.
It counts.
It does. It does.
So that about wraps up our episode 6. Thank you so much, Michael, for joining us. And we will see you next time.
Thanks for having me.